Hey, I'm Deja Smith-Jenkins, and welcome back to another episode of MPS Athletics Beyond. This episode is special. We're featuring an alumni who loves his alma mater so much, he not only coaches track, basketball, and football. The Forever Blue Devil himself, Mickell Harrell.
I ended up in the MPS school district. My mom moved here sometime in the late 80s and everything. And so we moved from West Helena, Arkansas, and we were placed, I was in first grade and I was placed inside Forest Home Elementary School as a first grader. Then I went from Forest Home to actually 27th Street School, which has been named and changed numerous of times. I ended up having to go back to Forest Home, but I ended up at River Trail. Then I ended up at Our Avenue. Then from Our Avenue, we moved to the east side of Milwaukee to where I was in middle school. So I went to Malcolm X Academy the year after they changed it from Robert Fulton. So from Malcolm X, I ended up at North Division High School. So which is all kind of community schools, but my North Division choice was a lucky draw, as I could say. So.
You've taken us through a journey. You're literally a product of MPS. You start off elementary, middle to high school, went off to college, and you came back to sew in the students here at North Division. Why come back? Why continue to go past the end of practice, the end of school? Why are you so invested?
I'm so invested just because that's actually what I was taught. Most of the coaches that I have, I consider them mentors. I consider them, father figures, and that was the way that they did it for me. And one of the things I always said is that I wanted to do what they did for me. I want to do for someone else's child, even if it's not getting a kid off to college, even if it's not getting a kid to professional sports, it's just at least giving them day-to-day lessons, day-to-day values, and just day-to-day things. Like I said, I had some great mentors from Carlos Hubbard to Aaron Womack to Uncle Rick Polk. Mr. Jenkins, there's a lot of them that I done took advice from that actually, that gave me advice, and I just felt like, that generation helped build a lot of the coaches that's in my generation right now, and I think a lot of us take their responsibility to making sure that we're going to build up the next great coaches. And most of the time, as a coach, your job is never really done, because sometimes as the coach, you're the coach, you're the uncle, you're the mother, you're the psychologist. You have these so many different roles, but those roles are valued because those young people actually look up to you in a certain way.
Now, being a coach over so many sports, you have a lot of student athletes and a lot of student athletes that aren't playing their sports this year. If you could tell them one thing, what would it be?
I would tell them, if I could tell the athletes one thing, I would tell them just stay prepared, stay ready, take time to focus on something that you didn't have an opportunity to focus on. So I know me personally as a coach, I coach so many multiple sports is that I get caught up in different things, and for the first time in a long time, I got a chance just to sit back and relax and just got an opportunity to catch up on some things, start some new projects and some old projects. But I would tell them just to kind of try different things, work on those things that you've been actually putting off, and just kind of stay ready.
The last question, you've talked about being a father, a mentor, a coach, a leader in this MPS community. What do you want your legacy to be?
That's a good one. I would want my legacy to be is just a great individual, an individual that stood by the youth, that stood for the youth, and that impacted the youth. I know I definitely don't want my legacy to be based on wins and losses. I want my legacy to be based on how many professionals that I done put in the world outside of athletics.
I think that's a perfect ending. Thanks, Coach.
No problem.